Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The podcast is available bi-weekly where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also get it from our website at scalemodelpodcast.com, where you can find show notes, photo gallery, and so much more. You can also subscribe to get notifications on all our updates, new episodes, and video content. Please support the Scale Model Podcast on Patreon. Patreon supporters enjoy early access to content and exclusive contests. Your Patreon support helps us to offset hosting and other costs to bring the podcast to you. Welcome to episode 151 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Call TV Man and Sean's Custom Model Tools. My name is Stuart Clark, and I am here from the slightly warmer Great White North. Shall we say the enemy camp?
Yes.
Shall we say the enemy camp?
We're the enemy camp.
No. We're recording this on February 3rd, and there's been a bit of a tariff war heating up, but apparently there's been a 30-day reprieve. So for tariffs from Trump in the U.S. to us up here in Canada, the Great White North. Those other voices you heard, of course, are honorary Canadian, but currently residing just west of Chicagoland. It's Mr. Terry Measley.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay.
That's good. And of course, normally I'd say from his beach house in Lake Erie, but it's pretty cold for that. So he's at his urban estate in the Oak Ridge subdivision of London, Ontario. Mr. Geoff Highland, how are you?
I am furious, angry, frustrated. I'm a Canadian. What else am I going to be on a day like today? And for the record, for all of our listeners in the United States of America, we Canadians are not pissed at you. We're pissed at your president.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
We're pissed at the policies.
We're pissed at yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Trying to be politically correct. I know we don't like politics on this show, but this is one of those things where when somebody declares war on my country, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, and you remember what happened the last time the Americans declared war on Canada in 1812?
Yeah, we burned the White House, but at the same time they burned Toronto. So come on.
So it was a pretty well tit for tat, I guess.
At that time, to be frank, Toronto needed burning, so it's not such a bad
deal.
It
was
a
York,
bit of
right?
Urban renewal.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's
all righty. So we'll just briefly. Our main thing about this is stay nice to each other, be nice to each other, realize that this is going to hurt people on both sides of the border if this tariff stuff goes through.
Yep.
Especially, smaller businesses, garage industries, stuff like that. And frankly, as Geoff was saying, there's a lot of pissed off Canadians, and this may affect participation at things like Wonderfest and Nats.
Yeah.
Particularly if the tariff things go through, which would really be a shame, which would really suck.
And I think, frankly, the way our country has been referred to in the last few weeks, I'm not sure that the tariffs not going through is going to change Canadians' attitudes to going down to the States for the foreseeable future.
Well, there's a lot of Canadians.
It's done a lot of harm. It's done a lot of harm.
And there's a lot of Canadians looking at buying local Canadian products at the grocery store and things like that. It's huge right now up here.
Yeah, I would argue that's always a good thing anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? It is and it isn't, because North America, I mean, we have built up an integrated economy over generations, and frankly, it's worked really well for all of us. So I don't know what
it is, but if it forces you to especially like your local, right?
Yes,
you're very regional. That's what I'm saying, more so than I'm going to buy Labatt's because I don't want to buy, I don't know, something else.
Yeah,
Schlitz. Yeah, I don't want to buy Schlitz. I'll buy Labatt's. I mean, they're on par.
Yeah, pretty well. No, but support your local microbrewery, no matter where it is.
Yeah. I mean, I could buy Unibrew, but stuff's pretty high test to start with.
Yeah. And I feel bad for Kentucky Dave, because frankly, I mean, what is it? Massive percentage of the bourbon consumed in Canada comes from Virginia, or comes from Kentucky. And so that's just been pulled off all of the shelves. It's gone.
Yeah, across the various liquor stores across the country in various provinces, they were pulling it.
Yeah. I think
And again, it hurts because, for example, the wine regions, the three biggest wine producing states in the U.S. are actually democratic
Hmm.
states.
Well, some of the provinces, what they've made a distinction. They've only pulled products from red states.
All right,
And the
so we'll see what
and the
happens.
principle obviously being that they want to impress upon those who, to a degree, seems to have supported this policy, that not the ones that didn't.
Yep.
So trying.
That's really common. Whenever there's a tit for tat trade war or whatever, bourbon always gets hit because it's from Kentucky
Darn that.
and Tennessee
Darn
and
that bourbon.
you know
Darn that
and
bourbon.
stuff like that. I guess
I'm just glad we're not having a trade war with Scotland. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, thank God for
Thank
that.
God for that.
you
All
guys
right.
Scotch drinkers?
Oh yeah, love my single
Yeah, but
malt.
not in
Oh,
quantity.
I guess
No.
I got an email to send you.
All righty.
Uh-oh.
Sparky. Well, I can tell you, Sparky, our Joe Suddy, who's in our club, had a stroke
Oh
year and a
dear.
half ago, and he doesn't drink anymore, and he was quite the aficionado. So if I
Mm.
make it up there, well, I don't know if I'll be able to bring it across the border.
Hopefully you will. We'll
We'll
see
Hopefully
what
you'll
see.
be able to
happens.
come
But
across the
I'll
border.
send you the list.
All
I'll
right.
send you the list.
Send
The
the
bourbon's
list.
already been taken.
Okay.
The
All right.
Scotch
Well,
remains.
Sounds
well,
interesting indeed.
one of my son-in-laws is from Scotland, and his family still is there, and so we fairly regularly visit there and pick up something to bring back from time to
Mm.
time. So
Yeah.
we have a relatively good little selection.
And my mom when she goes over, she's going over back over to England in the fall, and the duty free at Gatwick or Heathrow always has a good selection as
Mm.
well. So
Yes, they do.
okay, enough talk about trade wars and Scotch.
There's
And
never enough
bourbon.
talk about Scotch. Come on, let's
True.
be fair.
This is true, but this isn't the Scotch podcast.
True enough. True enough.
That coming soon, the Scotch podcast. Yeah, there you go. God help us. We'll be
Yeah.
asleep halfway through it. All right. I got a very nice message via Facebook Messenger from William Adair. William, as you all know, he's the guy that does those absolutely gobsmacking tiny 1 to 144 World War One fighter planes.
Hmm.
He said, "Hi, Stuart. I hope you're keeping well. I just wanted to reach out and say thank you for the kind mention on the latest episode of the podcast. It was unexpected, but really made my day. Thank you, too, for all the great work you, Terry, and Geoff do at Scale Model Podcast and for all your tireless efforts to promote the hobby. You guys are fantastic. It's always a real treat when the latest episode drops. All the best, William Adair."
Oh, shucks.
Shucks.
Well,
That's so
thanks.
nice.
I
Oh,
know. And
I'm turning red. I'm getting all
I
excited.
tell you, just watch where you put your hands or you'll crush this model.
I don't know. Those builds of his are incredible.
Unfathomable.
Yeah,
Absolutely
we were
stunning.
flipping through those the other night in our build night Zoom call with
Yep,
some of the other club members, and guys were just freaked out. It was crazy how good they were. So good for you,
exactly.
Bill.
Yep. All right, let's get right on to the news. The Nuremberg Toy Fair happened for 2025, and a lot of the major manufacturers sometimes have new announcements. So our good friends at DOS Work, they announced three new highlights. First of all, a 1/16th German Pak 40 anti-tank gun. Again, the big 1/16th scale. Now, speaking of big and 1/16th, how about a German Leopard main battle tank?
That's
One
nice.
one
That's gonna
sixteenth.
that's gonna sell.
That's
That's going to
nice.
sell.
Yeah.
That's going
Yeah.
to be a big kit, and also just as interesting, the Messerschmitt P1101 in 130, the big 132nd scale.
Yeah, and this is like the prequel to the X5, which was the variable sweet wing from Bell
Yep.
aircraft.
Well,
Almost a dead ringer
and
for it.
Saab, everyone played with this
Yeah.
because
Yep.
they got the examples of the planes and the drawings were there. So everyone kind of did one of these. Saab did the Tunen.
Yeah.
The Russians did something similar too, if I remember right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But the one I remember is the X5 because I still have one in my stash to build.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
this looks great. 132nd scale, nice kit.
Yep. Nice kit. It's going to be a good size. I'm sure they'll sell a billion
Yeah.
of them. All right. Tamiya was there. A couple of new announcements for their 135th. They have the French H-39 tank in 135th scale.
That was
And
small.
and then they were showing off speaking of small, the 148th M5A1 Stuart. They had those there as well.
Oh, you have to get that, Stuart.
I know. Well, I just got a Sherman in 148th.
Yeah, but your
This
name's
one's
not
tiny.
Sherman.
I know. This one's tiny. You know what? I do like the Stuart, so you never know.
Yeah,
I may
yeah.
pick up. We'll see how the other one goes together and if I like it or not.
You could
Uh,
paint it up and paint the name it Alicia or something like that.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
To me also had a lot of other stuff at their booth. The second links what they had there. Including 124 Toyota GR Super Custom, the Porsche 962C Jagermeister, a Mercedes-Benz 500 SEC, an Audi Quattro, Honda Prelude, um, how about a walking Tyrannosaurus craft set and a walking Triceratops craft set? Something for the grandchildren. And then they also had, I love how the translation here, makeup materials,
Makeup materials. I
cloth
noticed that.
sandpaper. So 600, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, and 3,000. So larger size for your car bodies.
Work on your skin tone. There you go.
That's
Work on
right.
your skin tone. Yeah,
Get that
don't
nice
careful with
rosy
that
glow.
600. With that 600, yeah, yeah.
I do
Just
like that Jägermeister one. That's really nice.
isn't that
Ooh,
nice? That Porsche.
that'll look good on a club table.
Yep, yeah. I'm sure we'll see it.
Oh yeah.
So what else? IBG had a big announcement. They're
Oh,
really, for those who say, the world needs enough Spitfires, I say no, never. They're coming out with, and they haven't gone into a lot of detail, but they're basically trying to make looks like almost every early mark of Spitfire. So including the photo reconnaissance, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, the tropical, the photo reconnaissance, the Mark 4, um, Mark 1s, 2s, 2As, 2Cs, 2 long range, 2Bs, Mark 5A, Mark 5B, Mark
keep going, keep
5C,
going.
da 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 da. Need I
Oh,
say more?
and
They're gonna,
PRs. Like I didn't realize they were PR. The photo reconnaissance versions had a A, B, C,
yep,
D, E, F, G, 4, and 4 tropical. I mean,
yep,
I didn't
yep.
realize that.
So they're gonna basically, it looks like what they're gonna do is they're gonna release some kits where they put some extra options in. So you're gonna have like different wings, different props, stuff like that. So I haven't really seen how they're going to break it up. The pictures do show, the various photo reconnaissance types. So whether they're going to give you one kit and you get four different wings or
Mm.
what, I don't know, but it's exciting to see in this scale.
Well,
Because
and for the record, as I mentioned, as we'll mention when we get to the what's on our bench, I finished off the IBG IAR 80, which is the
right,
Romanian indigenous Romanian fighter, at that in 1/72nd scale, which will be equivalent to this, I'm assuming, in quality. And if it is, I'm assuming that it is, these are going to be outstanding kits.
oh yeah, and these are all like early Merlin Spitfires.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
none of these are Griffins. These are all the Merlin ones. So.
I wouldn't be shocked if these become the new state of the art for 1/72nd
Mm.
Spitfires.
Yep, yep. We're gonna have to keep going. Remember, they went up to Mark 24s. So there's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, but
There's a
they've only
lot
these
of
ones are
different
only going
marks.
up to Mark 6,
Right.
so
These
they
are all
got
the
another group
Merlins.
to go.
Yep. And they're also getting some comments. Don't forget the C. We haven't even touched on the C5s
Right.
yet.
Oh,
Stuff like
yeah.
that. So, yeah. And again, people may moan, but Spitfires sell. Like Spitfires and Tigers. That's what's
Yeah.
that's what sells basically. So that'll be exciting to see what else. A few other items in the IBG catalog. Um,
TZL M18 Dromader in 1/48 scale. This is like a crop dusting plane from Eastern
yep,
Yeah, it's the
Europe.
agricultural plane.
Yeah,
yep.
what a great kit. I would
It
love
is.
that. I
So
would
what I'm
love to get my hands on that.
Oh yeah. So what I'm doing, I'm just looking at some of the new tools. So Type 89 and Type 95 Japanese tanks. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing, this is one area that we haven't seen a lot of builds on. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of Japanese tanks soon. Just,
Because
based
they're new
on
and they're a little different.
they're
Yeah.
a little bit different. What else do they have new here? I'm just scrolling down through.
Uh,
Uh,
are those
very,
Tanketas new? It looks like
if they say
it.
new on the thing,
Oh, I don't see it on there. All
no,
right.
They say new on the what's it near the where that.
we're
Yeah.
into the wear that. In the
Yeah.
picture it has a little new. So if I go down,
Yeah,
I did
seeing it.
see, yeah, there's a couple here. Diamond T969 Salt Soft Cab Wrecker.
Now these are all 172 scale, so these are going to be tiny little
Yeah,
things.
but look at all the different ones they have. The
I know they
the
got
the
tons.
the Charioteer for British tank.
How
The
about the Scamel tank transport with
Yep,
trailer and a Crusader Mark 1 too?
yep.
That'll be fun. That's new. That's a new mold.
And then we got some newer stuff. Ukrainian APC with a modified hull.
It's an
Ukrainian
Italian tank.
APC with slat arrow mid production. And then if we go down to, yeah, the 148th, you mentioned the crop duster.
Yeah.
135th starter sets. So they're going to have various ones. All the tank boxes contain one-piece tracks molded together with tank wheels to make the building process fast and easy while maintaining the detail of a brand new IBG kit. You get a set of their Hataka paints and a brush and glue. So you got a couple of
Good starter. There.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. All you need.
various Polish tanks and 2 secret items to be released later.
I love when they do that.
2
It's
items.
just it's
The
a
trade
blank
will,
with secret item written on it.
What do
the
we need to
player,
do to unlock those?
yeah, the player
Exactly.
will be announced later.
Level up. You got to level up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of 35th stuff. 2 secret items in there. I don't see anything else that's new to. Oh, never mind. Panzer II OS A1 German light tank and a Panzer Blutchenwagen 2A2.
Luncheon wagon.
Luncheon
Wagen.
wagon.
A small
And
German fuel trailer. That's also new.
Yeah, I saw that. It's great.
They got some ships here. They do a lot of stuff. IBG does an awful lot of things. A lot of Polish subjects, obviously.
yeah,
Let's see what
which
else.
is good. But I mean, as I said, that IAR 80
Yep,
early,
there it
which is
is
the
right
one I
there.
had. Excellent kit. Excellent
Yep,
kit.
they're
And
also
I
going to do the IAR 80A, the Barbarossa 2-in-1 and 172nd. They're announced that.
I
And the
suspect
32nd
it's
scale PZL-11. I wonder,
Oh yeah,
somebody else has done one of those.
Arma's
Is it
those
done it.
Roden? Roden
Arma's
in
Ro-
32nd?
Oh, and 32nd. No, not in 32nd. Arma
It
hasn't
was
done that yet.
Roden, maybe.
Yeah,
it might have been Rodin. Yeah, painting masks. That's what I could have used.
there you go. And then 3D printed accessories. 35th scale smoke dischargers, exhaust for the Focke-Wulf 1900 family and 72nd. They're doing quite a few 3D printed, aren't they?
Quite a bit.
Yeah. And
Well, they
then,
mention it in the instructions for the IAR 80. They at the very last page, they say you can upgrade your kit with these things. And I look,
Yeah.
the hell with it. I mean, I
Seats.
need a microscope to see these pieces already. But anyway,
yep. So anyway, that's the catalog from our good friends at IBG. Then our good friends at Katero over in New Zealand, you know, the ones that do awesome Spitfires in 32nd scale. Well, to no one's surprise, they announced a while back they're doing a BF 109K K4 in 32nd scale. We've got some of the first test shots. Again, I'm still surprised they didn't
gotta have
start.
something to fight with your Spitfires.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do a G first because a G always seems to be popular among modelers, but this will sell.
I figured they would have done an E first, just so it can fight with the Spitfires.
Yeah.
No.
You know, yeah, maybe. So yeah, that's very nice. You can see there some nice detail shots. This will be a
Very nice.
gorgeous kit. You know, it'll be the ultimate 32nd Spitfire or 32nd Spitfire, 32nd 109
Yeah.
for quite a while. And then Terry pointed this one out. The Saab B-18 from Pilot Replicas in 148 scale.
This has been a grail for us, Saab files. They did the B-17, which is a dive bomber, a while ago, which is quite nice looking in the box. I haven't built it yet, of course. But the B-18 is great. It's a twin engined, fast. It was originally designed to be a torpedo bomber, but it was kind of too fast for that.
Yeah,
So the
looks
second
good.
version of it, they bumped the power essentially and made it a mid bomber.
Right.
But those apparently the first batch that was supposed to be torpedo bombers, but not, they just used them as recon aircraft.
Really?
Yeah. And Saab does things their own way. If you notice the offset canopy on that.
Yep.
So yeah, it was really pretty slick.
It's a
Interesting.
neat looking little plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Pilot Replicas has a whole bunch of them of Saab aircraft. So have a look at their catalog.
What is this, like Sweden's Mosquito kind of thing?
Mm,
Kind of has an
more
edge to it.
like I don't know, more like a Junkers
Handley Page
88
Hampton.
kind of thing, or a bow fighter maybe,
Maybe a bullfighter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
maybe.
something more like a medium bomber.
Like a Boston or a Marauder.
Yeah, I think a Boston might be a
Boston
better.
might be a
Boston.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
yeah. I have high
Alrighty.
hopes.
Good stuff.
Now, Scalemates. Ugh.
Let's look at our good friends,
Oh,
the
I haven't.
Scalemates. Oh, I know.
Scalemates.
Has it been 2 weeks?
Has it been 2 weeks? It has been 2 weeks. So we start off again. We're recording this on February the 3rd. You can get a USS Oklahoma BB-37 1917 fit out, 3D printed from Kraken Hobbies, 1/700 scale. With a name like Kraken, you assume they know their ships.
There's so much that's coming out that's 3D. It's amazing.
I know. And then we
Just
have a
flipping through this.
Brit Norman BN2 Trilander from AMP in 1/72nd scale. We've got various Japanese anime girls, things like that.
Yeah, never mind.
Never
That's a
mind.
thing.
We'll keep going.
Yeah. Look at this. They've got a Weasel 1 Farschel Panzer.
Where's that?
1/65th scale from
Oh,
AFB
yes.
Club. That is a sharp looking little thing, isn't it?
How about the Churchill Ark Mark I? Armored ramp carrier bridge just above it.
It's a
Yeah.
weasel. It's a weasel with like a tractor cab on it.
Yeah. It's such a strange looking little thing. I love it. That's actually fun.
Huh.
I could see that painted orange in an Antarctic service or something.
How
The
about
Jeep Willie's Jeep Roto Buggy.
Yeah.
I love
Oh my
it.
God, they did.
In 35th, 87th, 48th, and 72nd.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
Obviously a prototype they worked on, and yeah, I wonder how successful it was, since I've never heard of it.
I've heard
We
of
would
it.
presume.
I've heard of it and I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a kind of an attempt and it didn't work. It was almost like an autogyro. You'd have to kind of pull it.
1943, first flight. The one was produced.
Yeah, and that was it. Didn't work so well.
Did not get enough speed. The unit being towed behind a Diamond T lorry, but the lorry could not get enough speed to put it in
Yeah.
the air.
Yeah.
A more powerful vehicle, a supercharged 4.5-liter Bentley, was used in the 27 to finally allow the machine to become airborne, and it could attain glide speeds of 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, but it had to be pulled by something.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's
After
the
initial
point?
test, it was prone to severe vibration at speeds greater than 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of these ideas not so good.
All right. Copper State Models has two cool motorcycles in 32nd and 35th. The same bike, but two scales.
Isn't
Yeah.
that nice?
Isn't that
It is
gorgeous?
nice.
The Vickers Kleino Mark IV motorcycle.
Very
Nice.
nice.
Very nice.
Now
Okay.
we're just looking at CAD drawings here, so we don't know.
Yeah,
it
but-
looks pretty
Yeah,
good.
but it's Copper State Models.
Yeah, true.
So
They have a
I'm
reputation to uphold.
yeah. A lot of new Games Workshop stuff. Big tanks and
The Horus
vehicles.
Heresy.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
And then
from
we
that
have
series.
And we have SS Model, for the T2 medium tank, the T1 self-propelled artillery, the T3 HMC tank destroyer, all in 1/72nd scale for your gaming.
There are
And then
so many small scale armor stuff out now. It's impossible.
I know.
You cannot
It's-
keep track.
We have a guy in our club that's a war game and uses that scale, and he's definitely in the golden age now.
Yeah, he's happy as a clam, that's for sure.
What else do we got here? We've got a crawler, a Stalin Nets 80 crawler from Red Iron Models.
Look at this
1/35th
though. They've
scale.
got two PZL M18 Drometer, same as IBG. So what is going on?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this plane becomes popular. It's two different manufacturers.
Well, 87 scale, that's HO, so that makes
HL,
sense.
and then one 1/20th scale, which I guess is probably as close to N, not quite, not even close, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do we have
I
here?
do like the Stallinettes, though. To your point, that's a sharp-looking little
That's good.
tractor with a cab on it.
And a
Love it.
nice McLaren 750S by Revell in
The
124.
opposite of the
That's
tracked
the
crawler.
opposite of the
Yeah,
crawl.
tractor.
Yeah, side by side, perfect. Love it.
Exactly. And then some new items from Flames of War and Team Yankee in the 1/100th wargaming scale. And then we've got an Italian Navy aircraft carrier, Giuseppe Garibaldi,
There you
AV,
go.
AV model 1/700th. It's Italian. It sounds like food. Of course, I'll get it right.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Best
oh,
kitchen of the fleet. There you go.
how about IBG, the IAR 80 Early in 148 scale, Jeff?
But you know what? In 148 scale, you're right. I just built the 172nd one, so it'll be
Yeah.
amazing. Assuming that they apply the same level of detail to it, it's an incredible plane.
How about a 1/700th animal set from a company called Firestarter?
You gotta
Horses,
get
cows,
that.
sheep, and pigs.
It'll go
One
with your
seven hundredth.
it'll go with your sheep collection.
Do you notice?
Wow.
You notice all those animals are on a penny?
I think
Yeah.
that's a euro.
Or well, like a euro coin? It's up there on a coin. Never mind.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
bloody tiny.
They're small. They're small. You're not going to have to break your budget on paint for this one.
Yeah.
No.
How about the humpback whale set?
Yeah,
from
and dolphins
Firestarter?
in
And
700ths.
dolphins.
So
Yeah.
there you go for your ship, for your Garibaldi.
There you
Oh,
go.
Fantastic. That's a great idea.
IBG, the HS-129B, the anti-tank air-to-ground German fighter bomber.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the A-10C Thunderbolt from Great Wall Hobbies has been announced in 1/72nd scale.
Aren't they doing that in 48th as well?
I believe so.
Under a different, it's Great Wall making it, but somebody else, Pit Row,
Yeah, I think
is
so.
marketing it.
Yeah, I believe
Hmm.
you're right. And then Revell had some initial announcements. They're also doing a space launch system in 1/144 scale. So they're directly competing with Airfix.
Interesting.
So Jeff, you'll have to get both and tell us which one's more accurate.
Well, maybe I'd be quite happy to review them for the manufacturers.
Exactly. Okay, keep that in mind.
There you go.
Manufacturers, if you're listening,
Yeah.
Jeff will be happy to take those kits on and review them.
Yeah.
What else here? IBG, there's Spitfire Mark 1 early. We've
Yep.
already talking about that. There's the H-39, the Messerschmitt, the Leopard. And I think we're pretty well down to where we were a couple of weeks ago. So the only one I do want to point out is January 26th, the Lamborghini Cyan. Is that attractive looking? Looks like something Batman would drive.
I'm looking.
January 26th.
And did we mention
Oh.
Andy's hobbies? The M3 half track?
We
In
mentioned it
16th
last
scale,
time,
did
I
we?
believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe we
Yeah,
did.
because they had mentioned, they had announced they were going to do it, but now it looks like it's on
Yeah.
the schedule.
I was looking at the Komar models, 148 Tupolev TB1, also known as the ANT4.
Oh yeah, 1/48 scale.
And that'll be a big model of a corrugated beast from the
Yeah.
Soviet Union.
With some rigging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Was there anything else I wanted to mention here? Oh yeah, just January 25th, the V2 rocket with the launching pad for the
Yes.
Trumpeter kit, from the Trumpeter kit, sorry.
Trumpeter.
1/350th, Trumpeter, 1/350th, and the cam ship, the Hurricat catapult section. So Hurricats were quite an interesting thing. These were used on the northern convoys and areas where they didn't have fighter coverage. Basically, they would take Hurricanes, which were by then were second-rate fighters, and they would sling one of these on here. And if a German reconnaissance plane came close, they'd launch the Hurricane. It would hopefully deal with it, and then the Hurricane pilot would have to ditch by one of the ships and hopefully be picked up
Before he died of exposure.
before he died of exposure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
If they weren't within range of land, sure.
And
Yep.
you see January 24th, there's 4 different scales of the CSS Hunley, the Confederate submarine
So down in the link beneath there is from Attack Squadron in 72nd scale U.S. Navy P6 catapults. It's the full catapult, not just a section like that
Right.
one
Huh.
gets it. It's 72nd scale. I wonder why they didn't do the full section, the full catapult for the Hurricane.
Well, It'd still be pretty big. Maybe, but who knows? But yeah, but no, that's one for your Sea Hurricane. Throw that on there. Exactly. So, yeah, you didn't have to worry about the landing gear. When they launched it, the landing gear was already up, and that's how it was done. So I remember reading about those years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that is all our goodies from ScaleMates with a little bit of a history lesson pulled in. Speaking of history, a guy with a lot of history with this podcast, our good friend at Cult TV Man. Let's hear what he has to say. All right, let's see what's new from our good friends at culttvman.com and culttvmanshop.com. First of all, some sneak peeks. They have The Bride of Frankenstein from X Plus. They had a sneak peek of that. They have that on their YouTube channel. They also expect that to arrive the week of February 10th. They're also expecting the reissues of the Jurassic Park T-Rex and the Spinosaurus with new box art, and Revenge of the Creature in an Aurora-style long box. Also, some amazing new stuff coming out in the shop. We have Godzilla, the 2024 release from Godzilla versus Kong, the New Empire from Bandai, $74.99. That gets you an all-new figure kit. The figure also comes with a separate skeleton and can be displayed inside the model or alongside the kit. Models is about 10 inches long from head to tail. Make sure you jump on that one because that's limited release. Also, some other related items and new stuff. Our good friends at Paragraphics have a huge restock there. If you're working on the Seaview kit from 1/128 scale, they've got the mini flying sub, the 128 1 to 128 photo etch detail set, and of course the interior decals for the TV version of that kit. Also, space pods, shuttle bays for your Enterprise, you name it, they have it. Make sure you check those out. Also, what else do we have here? The Chevy Nomad, the 1/25th scale from Atlantis, $29.99. Also very exciting, the Cerritos paint masks for that new 1400 kit from Aztec Dummy. That's going to be out for lower deck fans. The Strange New World Bridge, 1 to 1000 scale from Paragraphics. The Salt Vampire Resin Bust, Micromania Bust from Blackheart for $36.99. The Gilman, the Micromania Diorama from Blackheart for $59.99. So make sure you check out these and all the other amazing and cool things at culttvmanshop.com and tell them the Scale Model Podcast sent you. Okay, what's on the bench?
Wait a second. Have you been taking some kind of specialized course on segues? Because that was a specialized segue there.
Did you like that one?
Yeah, I was very impressed. That's shocking.
That was good. I know. I just think those up.
Speaking of history,
I just think those up because I should actually do it before I start, but I don't. So I just do it on the fly. It's a bit like, just what Terry does with our outros.
No, okay. I know Terry works those up years in advance. We know
years in advance. Years in advance. Okay, what I've been working on: slow and steady work on the Revell Land Rover. The wheels are now on, and it actually just the one wheel is maybe a fraction of a millimeter high. So I'm actually rather pleased with myself. The thing sits squarely. Just a few more things to do. The airbrushes are on the way back from Revell. They didn't charge me for any extra parts, so I assume it was just a good service.
And by Revell, you mean Badger, right?
Oh, did I say Revell? I did, because it's just above the word Badger on the show notes. Airbrushes are on the way back from Badger. Looking forward to getting them back. I really use them a lot for priming. So I've been missing that. I have a couple of other airbrushes, but the 0.3 needles just, I have to behave myself when I'm putting the primer on. You can, if you're not careful, it does plug. So I have to kind of be careful every so often, shoot a bit more through off to the side. And I also got a Tamiya 148 Sherman Firefly. That's for the 48 and 48 hour build in March that we talked about for the fundraiser for Models for Heroes. So lots of time to get involved with that if you're interested. I do have a link there on the show notes. The Firefly, I did an unboxing video on blackfire.ca. It's actually really nice. It comes with a die-cast lower chassis for extra weight. So and Lincoln length track. So it's the first time I'll be dealing with that. So that'll be in March. All right, Geoff, what about you?
Well, I finished that. I've talked about it a couple times already. That IBG 172nd scale IAR 80, and I got that along with another club member, George Ray. We both were given them by Frank Donati, our president, who acquired them on behalf of IPMS Canada for build review articles from IBG. And Frank doesn't build planes; he builds armor, so he offered them to George and me. And if you are a member of IPMS Canada, you will have already seen George's article because it came out in the most recent Beaver Tales electronic magazine. And it's a great article, and he's a great builder, and it's irritating. And now I have to follow that. And, geez.
Bring
Anyway,
it to the show. Bring it to Heritage Con.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. But so I wrote the article. I finished the build, wrote the article, submitted it, and got a note back saying, "Well, we just did an article on this thing. It's great to have submissions, but we already did one." I said, "Well, we were both supposed to do it. It was supposed to be like a comparison because he did the early one and I did the late one, or vice versa." And you published George's first. So anyway, whatever. It's out there. You may never see it. You may see it. The way I wrote it was basically me slagging George's build and criticizing the fact that as you age, your fingers and thumbs get fatter.
The excuses start flying.
And frankly, and this will be a segue to our discussion topic later, I also made the point that 172nd scale is far too small a scale for most normal adult males to work on. And I just threw that out as some raw meat to see what would happen. So let's see what happens. Anyway, I finished that thing. In the meantime, I started on a kit that I bought from you, Stuart, at one of the swap meets a few years ago.
Speaking of raw meat.
170, yeah, speaking of raw meat, a 172nd scale Arado, and I can't remember the number they gave to it, but it was one of those what if America bomber things with like 8 jet engines on the back of them, and the box cover has it flying over New York City, getting ready to bomb it. So I started that because given the tariff wars and all that, I thought seems appropriate. Why not? Let's go with that. And the other day I was flipping through my Facebook feed randomly, and I saw that somebody had come up with a 3D file for Lower Manhattan, an aerial three-dimensional Lower Manhattan. And I thought, hey, that would be fun. If I could get that, I could mount the plane above it, looking like it's doing on a bombing run. So I might just do that. Alternatively, because I really have nothing against Manhattan, I kind of like it, and I'm now going to start looking and seeing if I can find a 3D file of Mar-a-Lago, which I think might be more appropriate.
Okay, for the Secret Service, he's kidding.
It's only a model.
It's only a model.
For the 15 intelligence agencies currently listening in, he's kidding. And if you don't believe me, we'll pass on his address later.
Yeah, and all of this comes as a result of me in a reorganization of my workbench. I lost all of my lead weights that I would normally use for nose weights and planes, so I can't build this thing on its wheels anymore.
You mean they weren't up there in that ceiling?
That you've torn down?
You'd think, yeah. For those of you who are the listeners can't see what the other guys can see, which is that I in a fury, I ripped my ceiling in my basement out this afternoon, because I wanted to get rid of all the aluminum wiring that was put in the renovation in 1970. So that's
there's a good reason to go Hulk smash on all that.
There you go.
Drywall.
Oh yeah. It was great. It was great fun.
Oof.
Did you have a hard hat, or did any land on your head?
Oh no, it all landed on my head.
That explains a great many things.
It does. Anyway, that's all I've been doing. That's what I've been doing.
Terry, Mr. Measley.
Yes. Work continues apace on the Musaru. The shadow box carcass is built. The interior built. I'm working on bits and pieces of that. It'll give me a good reason to bring out my mini spray gun from Iwata. To do some of the background work, all that kind of stuff. I've got lights set up, so I'm all good to go for my shadow box. It's coming along very nicely.
Excellent.
The subjects are well, one part of it's done. The other part of it is close to done. Some scenery is done.
You'll have it done well before the deadline.
Yes, I will.
Excellent.
Yes, I'm very happy.
And for the benefit of the listeners who haven't seen any progress shots, and you won't see any progress shots on this one, it's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the phalanx is looking nice. I'm at the point now where I need to get it cleaned up a little bit and get some dull coat on the pieces, so then I can do some flat coat weathering on it, and then it'll be done. Go,
Okay.
sit it in the box, sit it in the base. Um,
Scary. Something
yeah,
done. Yeah.
I've only been saying that for like 3 months now.
Right. Right.
And then you had a little catastrophe, I see here
Yeah,
from
I've
your show
been working
notes.
slowly on that Wingsy Claude, and it's beautiful. Petite casting moldings on it and everything. In fact, so petite on the windscreen that it's broken.
Oh dear.
I pulled the little baggie out and like, huh, a two-piece windscreen. That's strange.
Oopsie.
That's
Oopsie.
never a good sign.
No, it's
Never is. Never is.
so I got to see if I can get a replacement from them. Not that it wouldn't be impossible to scratch builds or look for a vac, but if I can get a replacement for it, because it is some of the thinnest clear plastic I've seen in a long time.
Well, we will keep our fingers crossed for you.
Yeah, it builds up pretty well,
All right.
as you'd expect of a modern kit.
Okay. So, reading. If you're not modeling, you're reading this time of year because it's bloody cold out there. I've been on a reading kick. Instead of spending as much time getting frustrated on social media, I've been reading, and it's all Terry's fault.
Good on you.
I have a new favorite author, Stephen Baxter. How come I never heard of him before now? Because these are like 20-year-old titles I'm going
Yeah, he's
through.
not a young guy.
No. So I finished Titan and Moonseed. That was books 2 and 3 of his NASA series. I'm now moving on to a collection of his short stories called Traces,
Hmm.
and they're very, very good. Um, it's interesting. You're about halfway through Titan, Terry?
Yeah,
So it's interesting how he predicted Trump.
it's not hard to
No,
predict.
no, but it's just interesting, where they talk about some of the directions the U.S. government, thanks to this one particular president's going. It's rather eerie.
Well, it's conjectural fiction, but the big players remain the same,
Yeah, I agree.
right?
I agree.
So
But
it's
it's just,
interesting that he's taking the existing technology and pushing it to a
yep,
limit,
yep,
or past the limits, really,
yep, yep. But
because there was never going to be any money for a new system. And look how much trouble Starliner's been and these other
yeah,
ones. So
exactly.
go figure, right?
Yeah, but no, I found Titan especially was really tough to put down.
Hmm.
Sometimes it really keeps you, it grabs onto you and makes you want to, oh, one more page. I can sleep with one less hour, one more chapter, stuff like
I've
that.
been reading mostly that's at work, so I get X number of pages essentially
Yeah,
done. If
yeah.
someone hasn't scheduled a meeting or something during lunch.
Okay,
Who would
Terry,
do
what?
that?
So Terry, go ahead, and we may as
Yep,
well
reading
just.
Titan halfway through there. Pretty good. Um, so far so good. It's I love conjectural work like this. And then also reading the manga of Bleach. So I see how that tracks to how they adapted the anime.
Every time,
Pretty
every
close.
every time I see that, I think, is it Bleach Blanket Bingo?
It is not. There was one Bleach episode one beach episode
Yeah, I
of
know.
Bleach
See, throws you off.
in the yeah, in the anime, but
Okay,
um side stories.
exactly. All right, Jeff.
Yeah, well, I haven't picked up a book recently. I mean, I'm still working on a couple that I've got. I'm like a lot of people. I probably have about 6 books on the go in my night table. So I've been plowing through a complete collection of Scale Aircraft Modeler magazine, which is a UK-based magazine from the beginning of modeling time, and I'm going at like from the first one all the way up to today, just for the sheer um, torture of seeing to what extent topics have changed over the years. And surprise, surprise, topics generally have not changed over the years.
No, no.
I'm reading in 1988, and they're bitching and complaining about how high the kit prices are. And $5 for the new issue, 172nd B52. Anyway, there was an article, an opinion piece about castigating people who are collectors, saying that is not a part of the hobby. Kit collection is not part of the hobby.
Oh dear.
And the fact that they exist, they're driving up prices for those of us who want to obtain a complete built set of air-fixed original bagged models from 1957 or whatever.
Heaven forbid.
I know, it's awful. It's awful. They have a couple of articles. Who needs fancy new paints? I mean, my God, are Humbrol not good enough for us? I mean, that sort of thing.
Oh my.
And then the classic IPMS judging sucks. That's that seems to be there forever. It never changes. It's a difficult. You're defending the judges, but you're also castigating them for why didn't they look at it this way? Blah blah blah.
And you notice it's never the winners that say that.
Well, the winners, no, they never do. In fact, you never hear about the winners. And that was
Yeah.
the other thing that's fascinating. They do a lot of coverage of shows, particularly in the UK, because they at the time had a lot of shows, and they'll show a picture of a model, but they'll never tell you who built it.
Oh.
Wow.
And the quality of the pictures are kind of not that great. Anyway, it's interesting. They're very parochial magazines at the time. The UK was a thing, I guess it was. There's a ton of information, good information on UK aircraft, but they're pretty stuck on themselves, at least back then. That was interesting. But I don't know. I think having read more recent copies of the magazine, they've improved significantly. They're not quite as stuck on themselves. Let's put it that way. Anyway, very interesting. And at that time, what I found fascinating was at that time, the be all and end all of manufactured aircraft kits, Hasegawa. Hasegawa was, it was the grail. Back in 1988, which is kind of interesting. And Monogram was the quintessential North American builder, and they were the builder of detailed aircraft in 1/48 scale. It's amazing how much things have changed.
Exactly.
So that's me.
Alrighty. So keep on reading, and I always put these latest titles in the What We Like page. I try and keep that up on our website at scalemodelpodcast.com. Okay, let's have a brief listen from Sean's Custom Model Tools. Now we're going to talk a bit about Sean's Custom Model Tools, one of our other sponsors of the Scale Model Podcast. Some very cool things, both 3D printed and the Goodman Super Sanding Blocks. Let's start with the Microset and Microsole Decal Set Bottle Stand. This is purposely designed for the microscale set and sole. Most modelers over the years, they've tipped these bottles over. So this is a very handy thing. At $14.95, you can put them both together. They're printed in blue and red for easy identification. Comes with a black base, and they actually have little magnets on it, so keeps them in place. Definitely a good deal. I use mine all the time, and I can well recommend them. Let's talk a bit about those Goodman Model Super Sanding Blocks, namely the Value Pack Combo for $28.99. You get the 80 grit, 180 grit, 220, 320, 400, and 600. Just an amazing set, just what you need. And you can also, if you want, you can also get a super sanding block stand for it, which also really makes life a little bit easier, helps things keep it organized. The other thing too is they have the awesome model tape dispenser for your various tapes. It's basically a 3D printed thing. You put spools of your tapes. It's got a little razor blade to help cut it, and it's really, really good design. So yeah, works out really well, and yours for $19.95. So check out these and other amazing deals at Sean'sCustomModelTools.com, and also on Facebook, and tell them that the Scale Model Podcast sent you. There we go. You see, Jeff, I didn't have a segue there. Couldn't think of anything. Couldn't think of anything.
A little too rigid.
Couldn't think of anything. Yep, there you go.
It disturbed me.
All right, I'll try and do better next time, okay?
Please do.
All right. So we had a letter come in, and this was sent to all the podcasters. Rick Baker, the Scale Model Outlier. I also like to say the Scale Model Shit Disturber.
Yeah, I think go with that.
I think we can safely say that. Good friend of the show. Hello, gentlemen. I have a show discussion topic for you all to ponder. Scale wars. How's that? You like that?
No, not good, not good. But
All
keep
right.
going.
How about scale wars? Okay. The premise is simple as it is fictional. Imagine I have hired each of you as a consultant to my brand new, again, fictional scale model manufacturing company. I want to shake up the industry and I'm relying on your knowledge and expertise. I'm not interested in what kit you want to make that doesn't exist or in need of a new tooling. Instead, I want to know your opinions on scale. I am tasking you each individually with 2 assignments in this discussion. Time and money are not considerations here, the most fictional part of all, he adds. You must eliminate, number one, you must eliminate a standard popular modeling scale from a genre of your choosing and justify your choice. For the snarky minded amongst you, box scale does not count. Or they shouldn't have picked that scale. Number two, you shall replace the eliminated scale by adding a new scale for any modeling genre of your choice you believe is not represented well in the industry or even at all. And you must tell me why I should invest in your idea or why should they have picked this scale instead. Remember, in this scenario, you're a pool of consultants competing with each other to have your pitch chosen, so bring your A game to your arguments. I know modelers can have strong opinions to their preferred scale, so I hope this is taken in the spirit of fun. But if a friendship or two gets dented, well, we can't let that stand in the way of progress. Good luck and may the best arguments win.
Well, I'm gonna start out just by saying, first of all, eliminate 1/72 scale. It's not necessary. You can go with 148, or you can keep 144. That's what you 144 for the people who have apartments and want to make a whole collection of something. 148 for somebody who wants to get something that's a little easier to work with if you have
but you have to add a new scale though.
Well, no, I'm just starting with the getting rid of first.
All right.
And then I would add 1-to-1 scale because I think that's really sorely missed in this market right now.
1-to-1 scale. 1-to-1 scale. Okay.
1-to-1 scale.
All righty. We had very little time to think about this today. I should point out to the listeners, just FYI. I have no idea on this at this point. So
I just threw that in because that will make Terry sound a lot more reasonable.
Yeah, because Terry obviously had some time to think about this.
No,
just this came to you and it works out well. So go ahead, Terry.
Yep. I'm like, I'm not going to get rid of one thing. I'm bring another thing on. I'm going to redo the whole thing. Right. Why just one?
Right.
I could say get rid of 1/43 because who cares about 1/43 scale? But
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care about
it. Do you care? I don't care. No?
I don't care.
200? For sure.
All right, fine. So I'm going imperious with this, and we're going to go full Roman. So
that almost sounds disgusting.
Full Roman
full
numeral.
Roman.
Let's go with that.
Numeral.
Yes, it is essentially a metric system. Yes.
Yes.
So I will be 1-to-1. V is 1-to-5. X is 1-to-10. L is 1-to-50, C is 1-to-100, D is 1-to-500, and M is 1-to-1000. If you need bigger, then you can go in multiples of 1000. So MM scale, MMM scale. We're talking, for stuff like Zentradi battleships.
A 1/100th battleship Yamato.
Yeah, I mean, you've already got a 200. Why not?
Yeah. Or 1/500.
Or go to 500. I mean, take your pick.
And forget
this is what you get. These are the choices you get.
Interesting.
Where did 750 ever come from anyway? Who cares?
And you know what? You can't forget double X and triple X, 1/20th and 1/30th.
No, you get 50th.
Well, no, I'm thinking I'm thinking 1/30th for all the figure models out of Japan.
No.
You get 10th and you get 50th.
Triple X.
No, you get 10th and 50th.
All right.
Take your pick.
Yeah.
We or large.
So what are we making? What are we making in 1-to-1?
1-to-1, things like handguns, that sort of thing.
Single tank treads. We already do that.
We already do that. That's true.
Yes,
weaponry.
Yep.
1/5.
1/5. Large scale figures.
Yep.
Yeah. Things like that. Sure.
A 6-foot person would be just a little over a foot. So that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. 1/10 could be some smaller aircraft.
Oh yeah, or larger aircraft.
Larger aircraft.
Larger kits of smaller aircraft.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, figures in 1/10 scales is fine. Anything from even cars and such, 1/10 scales pretty good.
Yeah, that's
RC tanks.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
A Leopard in
Gives
1/10.
It'll make 1/16 scale look small.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll be bigger. Therefore, it must be better because it's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that much bigger. Come on.
No, and 1/50th? Well, come on.
1/50th? Yeah,
It's
that's where you're going to
1/48.
fit a lot of your aircraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of armor as well for
Small,
the
small
smaller.
ships, larger ships for the truly insane amongst us.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can make it work, yeah.
Why not? RC.
And 1/100th, you're going to see a lot of stuff in 1/100th. That's where a
Yeah.
lot of science fiction is going to come in,
Mm-hmm.
aircraft and armor and ships, and not so much ships, but they'd be big.
Well, small ships.
Small ships.
Yeah.
Churches.
Maybe a Corvette.
Small rocks.
Small
Yeah,
rocks.
exactly. Very small
asteroids.
rocks. Very small rocks.
Very small rocks.
Ducks.
Castles. Yes.
Oh dear. This is getting out of control.
And
So
of
yeah,
course-
you just think
yeah.
about, as you get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I said, you're doing a Zentradi main battle cruiser. It's not going to be 1,000 scale. It's going to be
No.
1/10,000 scale.
Yeah, exactly. Because
But even
otherwise
then,
you
it'll
have
be
to buy
big.
a new wing for the house to put it in.
Or we could even just ignore all of this and just go back to box scale.
Oh no, there is no box scale.
There is no box scale.
Why?
No,
No, it's just have a box and then fit the model in the box. Everything
that's
looks
with
the
box
same.
scale. That's
Yep.
what they did it. Exactly. Alrighty. Well, I'm already impressed by some of the larger things that people build, like some of the large monster aircraft in 1/48th or 1/32nd scale, like B-52s and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, you know. Alrighty, things we've seen. I noticed this one from our good friends at 3D Wild. They're always doing cool stuff. And they're going to be building a C5, a 1/200 scale, C5A. They normally build aircraft carriers. So this is their 1/200 scale aircraft carrier. That's a bit different.
It's an aircraft that carries other aircraft.
Yes, and yes, it will carry 1/200th aircraft we'll be releasing, such as the Cobra, Seahawk, Chinook, as well as 1/200 scale trucks and armored vehicles. The kit's designed to accommodate 24 mini LED lights inside, which will illuminate the cargo bay without affecting the model's external appearance. They're going to be releasing a video soon showing everyone how to do this neatly. And the kit will be part of their 1 to 200 desktop air museum series. Even at 1 to 200, it's still quite a sizable model. No kidding.
Yeah, it's huge.
And of course,
I remember
someone replied, "Cool. However, I feel 1/100th would have been better."
And I love that. I love that. That's the first email, the first note in the list.
Yeah. And they
It's a
replied to
complaint.
him. They replied to him, "That would be a lot more money." LOL.
It would be more than 2 cents because he did end it with just my 2 cents. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. But
Oh,
yeah,
dear.
that looks pretty cool. You got to admit that looks pretty cool.
What I like about it is that they thought of it the way it should be, which is you're going to open up the interior, you're going to have cargo, and they're
Yeah.
going to then provide the cargo as well.
With the lights and with the LED technology,
Yeah.
like I said, we've seen what our friend of the show and fellow club member Ron Tucker does
Ron the
with his
Wizard
LED.
Tucker, yes.
Yes, with his LED lights and wireless charging, and so they light up just with a conductive coil and stuff like that. Very, very cool.
Very cool.
So what else you got, Terry?
I'm trying to figure out how to get the link on there, but our buddy Vince Hoffman of RC fame has he picked up a vintage Tamiya RC Sherman for like a bargain and has been upgrading the electronics in it and has got it out and running, and
Very cool.
It's a lot of fun. He's got a gallery with some videos and some images of what he's done with the electronics and everything inside.
All right, we'll make sure we have that gallery in the show notes.
Yeah.
Once Terry throws it up. See, we're doing this live, folks. Live. You're seeing how the sausage is being made.
Well, and also for everybody, to the point of it being not only live, it's also lazy live, which means Stuart's not going to edit any of this out anyway.
No,
I never do. I never do. It's more fun. It's more fun this way. And I got 4 days or 5 days to edit it before it comes out on the weekend. So we'll see what happens. So any other news? Any other things we need to be talking about, gentlemen?
Oh, probably. I can't think of it right now.
All right.
Now
So
we just gotta buckle up and get through it.
that's
Yeah.
all we can do. So for more modeling podcast goodness, check out the other modeling podcast at modelpodcast.com. That's a consortium site that I've set up with all the other podcasters. It has links to all the various shows, different genre, something for everyone, pretty well. So, unless you're into what genre don't we have a podcast for? I think we're pretty well covered.
Oh, I can't imagine that there isn't a
Space
podcast for.
space Twinkies, space Twinkies. We don't have space food. You know, modeling space food. I'm just saying. Then
Uh,
again, there's no kits of that too. There's ramen, right? What wasn't there
There's
the bowl?
ramen. Yeah,
Ramen.
you get ramen and
That's
yeah,
about
sushi
it.
rolls, I think.
Yeah, so there's no specialties podcast discussing model food.
I don't think there's any podcast about copper lights and things like that either.
There
So,
there are
oh, there are.
yeah,
Of course there
there's
are.
There are.
Paleocast is a great one. A great podcast.
All
See,
right.
you thought you came up with something, didn't you?
Well, I was trying to think of a nice way to say it as opposed to what I otherwise could have said, right?
This
So,
is true. This is true. That's all right. All right. So as always, check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and our very own website, scalemodelpodcast.com. I also do unboxings, and they're available at blackfire.ca, blackfire.ca. I just did the 148 Sherman tank I just picked up. I released that on the weekend, so you can check that out. We also have merchandise at Redbubble, and I think that's about it. So for the Scale Model Podcast, my name is Stuart Clark.
I'm Jeff Highland.
Now I'm Terry Measley reminding you to be excellent to each other.
I was perfect.
Well done. Well done. Thank you, and be well.